What's happening, guys? So it's Thursday, 3 days before Norfolk, and I'm now on my way over to see a friend of mine, Ashley Shippey, drift cup driver, very talented driver, who's agreed to change all my tyres over for me ahead of the weekend. So I'm now going to shoot across to his, and I'll see you when I get there. Strapped in, ready to go out for some practice. Just hoping that the track dries up and I can put these accelerator tyres to the test. So here goes nothing. What's happening, guys? Welcome back to the channel. So the comp at Norfolk was a wet one, and as a result I've got no footage. It wasn't worth damaging the film and equipment to try and get some footage, so I just thought I'd give you guys a brief overview of my day basically and keep you guys in the loop. So practice ran from 9 o'clock till 1 o'clock. That started off wet, really wet. So tyre pressures were lowered. I think at one point I was running as low as 15 psi in the rear. And just generally trying to get some grip into the car. As it was, I did myself no favours because I almost had too much, but that's come to light. That's something else that I now need to look at. That's come from me, from the judges. Stiggy and Kay that were up in the tower have both said the same thing, so it's back to the drawing board on that one. Try and dial a little bit of grip out of the car now, because I've got to the point where the car feels predictable on a tyre that I trust. So it's just a case of trying to take a little bit of that grip away. I think I'm going to try and manage this with stiffer springs on the rear, because at the moment I'm running 8k front, 6k rears. So I'm going to get in contact with the guys at Tyre Coilovers and see if they do a stronger rear spring for my coilover. If they do, then that'll be the option that I go with. Because at the moment the dampener settings are set as hard as they'll go, so it's definitely not a adjustment issue, it's down to the spring being too soft. So basically qualifying, I thought I'd get mine out of the way. I went first. First run was very sketchy because it had dried up at this point, typical. And I felt I did alright. I missed clip 4 and 5, which in the end has cost me. The car itself, very short and snappy, and me not necessarily thinking about my line at that point was my downfall. So I've gone wide on 4 and 5, which, like I say, that's cost me at the end of the day. I've ended up scoring 43, which has placed me in 36th position, I think, out of 48. So it's points on the board. I didn't spin, so it's all positives. It's definitely an improvement on the last time I was there as well, so that in itself I'm pleased with. Going through to battles, my top 16 battle in the B finals was against Sean Kenny. Young lad that's got a fair bit of ambition for the sport, and I took the win, which I was pleased with. I felt like I did what I needed to do, put in a good lead run. By this point the track was soaking wet, so tyre pressures were lowered again, but these things happen. Nothing you can do about the elements. You just have to try and adapt the car and deal with them basically, and drive accordingly. My chase run, I gave him a little bit of room, let him do what he needed to do, and yeah, like I say, I felt that went alright. So then on to the top 8, I came up against Adam Dickinson, another good young driver that he's doing well. He's come a long way. I again led first. I felt as if I didn't put in a bad run until I come across the middle from clip 5 to clip 6, and the car decided to misfire and drop a cylinder. So it was running on 3, which I wasn't expecting, and it put me into a spin. It's one of those things, it happens, it's motorsport. The cars are pushed to their limit and it showed a weakness, and at the end of the day it is what it is. Not taking anything away from Adam, he drove really well. I then made a mistake on my chase run as well, which it's give him the win, and fair play to him, he's gone on to actually win the B final, so fair play to him, well done Adam. All in all, I've had a really good day. I feel like the guys at Norfolk ran the competition very well. They've just put so much effort into whatever they do, and people don't tend to see all the effort from behind the scenes, but I have on more than one occasion, and I can honestly say these guys work really hard to do what they do, and fair play to them, because they put on days like this so that you don't go to the bigger competitions, the likes of Drift Cup, RDC, or maybe even BDC one day and realise that it isn't what you want to do. So, you know, they give the opportunity to experience competitive drifting, you know, in an environment that's friendly and makes people feel comfortable. So fair play to those guys, they've done a great job. So from me, it's now a case of chasing the ignition issue. I think I know what this is. I've spoke to my mapper Dale over at Bailey's Performance. Brilliant guy, knows MX-5s inside and out. What he doesn't know about them isn't really worth knowing. And basically what he said to me is that he thinks it's either plugs, leads or coil pack. Now I said the same thing. I think the issue is on cylinder 3, because if I play around with that HT lead, that tends to sort the issue. But it's only temporary, and I've been on the phone to him this morning. We've checked through a few things through the ECU settings, and that all checks out okay. The AFRs are out on idle, which would also suggest potentially either ignition or fuel pressure related. Fueling seems fine, so we're going more ignition. So once that's all sorted, we're going to hopefully take it for a run at some point and see how I get on, see if that's cleared the issue. The plan is new HT leads, new plugs, and see how it is from there. I've got a plan B in process which Dale has recommended, and if new HT leads and new plugs don't solve the issue, then that'll be the way that'll be going. It'll mean some longer HT leads and moving the coil pack, which won't be a standard Mazda item. It will be something a little bit aftermarket, which he highly recommends for higher revved applications. So for drifting it would be ideal. It gives a stronger spark as well apparently, and it's something that you can get off of quite a well-known make and model. So yeah, like I say, that'll be the plan. New HT leads, which I've got in the shed, new plugs, which I've got in the shed. Give it a go, see how I get on. If the issue's still there, change the coil pack, because I do also have a spare one of those. Try it, and then, like I say, last chance saloon will be the new HT lead and new coil pack setup, which Dale's recommended. So that's that, and I suppose that is competition drifting. It doesn't always go to plan, but for the love of the sport and the love of the builds, I guess, I've put a lot of time and effort into this car, and it's one of those things, it happens. To say I'm not gutted is an understatement, but I felt like I went out there and I did the best I could. So hopefully, like I say, next time I get out in the car, which I think will be October now, I've got a few other little jobs that I need to get done. I know that the turbo seals are on their way out, so whilst I've got a month now with no events, I'm going to take that off and have that looked over and replace the seals in that. I'm going to also take the exhaust manifold off because it sounds like it's started to blow again. I can't see any obvious defects, so no cracks. So what I'm thinking is the gasket itself where it attaches to the head has blown, so potentially take that off and new gasket on. If that doesn't solve it, I'll take it back off and I'll have the face skimmed of the manifold just to try and level it off. But yeah, like I say, month off now, get a few jobs done on the car and go back again in October. So thanks once again for tuning into the channel, guys. Don't forget to put a like on the video, comment and subscribe, and we'll see you next time.